Hi, welcome to Soup to Nuts. Today we're going to be, my name is Richard Nardini, and today we're going to be making a French stew. It's called beef ragout, and it's made quite a bit different than other stews you might have had. It's got a lot of wine in it. It was originally made for wild game and venison, but it works really good with the beef. The first thing we're going to do is fry some of this beef. Well, previously we had fried some bacon, done some bacon up. I'm going to fry some of it in a little bit of the bacon drippings, just a little bit of it. It all gets cooked in a crock pot for about 2.5 hours after we get it all done here. Some of the other ingredients: about 2 stalks of celery, about 4 or 5 carrots, 12 ounces of mushrooms, 1 large onion, a tablespoon of tomato paste, a little garlic, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, a tablespoon of Tabasco, and a little pinch of thyme leaves. There's the wine. That's 1 cup of wine and 1 cup of water. So we'll start off. We'll season these up a little bit. A little salt and pepper. Actually, we can salt and pepper everything in here.
He's not talking right now.
Okay, while we're waiting for this to warm up, this will cook probably 2.5 hours in the crock pot. It's a good dish for winter time. What we'll do is we'll cook this up. Just a little bit at a time. Make sure it gets all browned. It's on. It's a slow one. All this bacon goes in at the end. You fry up the carrots, the onions afterwards, and these just go into the pot later on. They don't. You don't fry these up. Made 15 pounds of this the other day at the fire station. It was gone in about half an hour. Also with this, they sometimes put on the top, they'll put the biscuit mix and make dumplings with it, but that's not something that has to be done. You only have to brown these for a few seconds on each side. There's about 3 pounds of beef here. The recipe calls for like 1.5 pounds, but I don't think you have a good stew unless you got a lot of loaded up with meat. This is better eating the next day too. You can use any cheap cut of meat, either buy the beef stew itself or just cut up some London broil or whatever, because this cooks long enough to tenderize it. The wine is just red wine, any cheap brand of wine actually for cooking. It doesn't have to be anything special. That's a port red wine. You just brown these on all sides. Use very little of the bacon, but it gives it a lot of flavor. Afterwards, we're going to add the cornstarch and everything into here. Cook that separate. Everything on top of all the meat and the vegetables in there, and then just let it go for 2 hours. Okay, these are almost done here.
Color commentary.
Just want to make sure all the sides are brown. Okay, we'll throw these into here. This crock pot's not on yet. Crock pot. Just a little more of the bacon drippings here, and we'll do the rest of them. Salt and pepper. You can make a bunch of this, freeze it in containers, eat it later, keep it in the freezer a couple of weeks, couple of months even. This is real good with wild game if anybody out there happens to have any. This tastes a lot different than any other beef stew you'll have. It's the French cook with wine. And if you use the bacon, use the hickory smoked bacon, which adds a lot of flavor to it. Use about 1/4 pound of the bacon. Right after this meat's done, we'll start on the vegetables. And you can change these if you like more carrots or less onions, you can do that. You can put potatoes in if you want. The recipe doesn't call for it though. Eat this with French bread after. You don't need anything else. It just makes a real good meal. Gets pretty thick. Keep all the juice when you're done frying the meat. Just throw the whole thing in there. Okay, we'll throw this in here. Now add just a little bit more of this. Just like a tablespoonful. About a tablespoon of butter. A little bit of garlic. Probably half a teaspoon. And we'll fry the vegetables in this. You only fry these just for a little while. We'll do the carrots up first. No more salt and pepper. While this is cooking, we'll put 1 teaspoon of Tabasco, or thereabouts. In the wine. So that's half wine, half water, 1 cup of each. Do like a half a teaspoon of thyme. Later we'll put that in a pan. We'll put the tomato paste. And we'll put the cornstarch in there also. These have cooked enough. It's only about 5 minutes with the vegetables. Now I'll do the same thing with the onions. Some butter. And a little bit more garlic. And now we're putting the onions. There's one large onion here. Just 5 minutes of cooking these here, and that's not even that really. Mix these all up in here. The mushrooms and the celery go in later on. You don't fry those, they just go right in there. There's a lot of variations of this recipe. Another one has brandy in it. But this is the one I found that tastes the best, I thought. It's got a real rich flavor to it. A little more salt and pepper. Okay, we can let's throw the onions in here now. We'll just mix these up a little bit. Get it all mixed up. Okay, now we'll get the wine. Pour it right in here. Throw in the tomato paste. And we'll throw in the cornstarch. That's to thicken it. Just all mixed up. This also has the thyme and the Tabasco sauce. And throw the parsley in. Let this heat up a little bit. Once the tomato paste is all melted in here, just let this cook for a little while. This makes all your flavor here. This wine and tomato paste really makes it a deep flavor. All right, now I'm gonna just pour this right in here. Right over everything. Mix this up. Not quite enough liquid in there, so we'll add some water. Another cup of water we'll add in here. A little bit less. What we'll do now is we'll throw this in. It's bacon. Throw in the celery. Mix it all up inside. You can put this in the oven also if you don't want to use a crock pot, but I think the crock pot works out better. Cooks the meat, makes it more tender. That's in there. We'll throw the mushrooms in. Sometimes you can throw the mushrooms in after about an hour, or you can throw them in at the beginning. It doesn't matter too much. I'm not going to be able to get them all in here, I don't think. Mix these in. As it starts cooking, you usually get enough juice where it'll all come to the top. And this will eventually be all submersed into the liquid while it's cooking. Let's see if we can get more of these in here. Mushrooms shrink way down. That's why I want to try to put them all in here. You can also put a couple tomatoes in here, cut up in wedges. They do that too. What we'll do is we'll add just a little bit more water. Or you could split this water half and half with wine again. That's basically it. When you put it, you plug in the crock pot and you stir it maybe every 45 minutes, just a little bit. Crock pot's good because it won't burn it. And after 2.5 hours, best thing to do is make this early in the morning, cook it, and then let it sit for the day, and then have it at supper time, or cook it late and have it the next day. And it's a lot better after it's been sitting for a while. I'll bring this pot over here. Set it on the counter. And start it on high, and then if it starts to go too fast, you can turn it down. This is Richard Nardini for Soup to Nuts. I hope to try this recipe. It's better than most stews you'll have. They have a lot more taste, and I hope you try it one time before the winter's over.
Thank you.